on our video platform over at the WBT webpage. Not the webpage. We're on the webpage, and we're also on the Facebook page. We're actually on both of those locations as far as I understand it. And it's good to be with you. So let me reset what we were talking about just a few minutes ago. We were talking to Brett Jensen, but before we talked to Brett Jensen, we were talking about this package that ran over on CNN in which they declared that all the Trump supporters are rich. They don't have economic anxiety. There's no economic anxiety. If you think like you worry about the economy, you don't when you vote for Trump, because the Trump economic anxiety is just it's not going together. And the $10 million man, Don Lemon, over on CNN, man worth $10 million, and Chris Cuomo, Fredo Cuomo, who is worth $12-13 million, makes $6 million a year to be on the TV being wrong. They said that, listen, you people with the dune buggies and the boats, the Sea-Doos, with the above ground pool, you fancy people with the above ground pools, you're rich. You have no way, and you vote for Trump, and you don't have any economic anxiety. Not worried about the economy. You're greedy. You're not worried about the economy. It's really something, isn't it? I got people that want to weigh in on this. So what do you say we jump out? We talk to them on the phones at 704-570-1110, 704-570-1110. And let's hear what they have to say. Michael is up first. Michael, welcome to the show.
How are you, Brett?
I'm well. Thank you, sir.
Man, I have really shortchanged. So in my early 20s, I had a rock crawler.
Mm-hmm.
I've since sold it.
Uh-oh.
And I didn't know what elite status I had when I had it. If I had known, I probably would have kept it.
Well, but you could probably go out and get many more, because if you're a Trump supporter, you got $50 bills to burn, man. You are not feeling economic pinches.
Our bills. But a little short story. So I went to a community college and learned a trade.
Yes, sir.
And I've had a job since I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
28 now, and I'm doing pretty good for myself. I feel like I pay enough taxes, especially on overtime.
Oh,
so,
huge. See, this is the thing. This is the sort of mass judgments that we get, right? Last time around, it was deplorables. This time around, the Trump supporters are too rich, and they don't have economic anxiety, which is foolish. It's foolishness to try to. What is like rule number one when you're growing up is don't count another man's money. Like, you don't know where he gets it from. You don't know how he did it, and go make some for yourself. I appreciate you being out there, Michael. What's that?
People get judged by it.
Oh, that's absolutely right. Steve's up next. Steve, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yeah, well, I have a cousin who lives in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir.
Not exactly the richest place in the world. He works for one of these places that sells these little four-wheelers. They go for like $10,000, $12,000.
Right.
And one weekend, he sold 50. And he was selling to the people who were getting these, the $1,200 checks and the PPP checks and all that sort of thing. And because they were drawing checks that weren't working, so they wanted something to do, so they went and bought four-wheelers.
Well, those four-wheelers are expensive. Those dune buggies and those four-wheelers. I mean, you get some of those. They get up there around $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, and the people that vote for Trump drive the gold-plated ones.
Yeah, those those guys with all that money, man.
Mm-hmm. A really incredible thing. I appreciate you being out there. You'll note, folks, I'm not even talking about the wealthy yacht owners who take their 75 and 80-foot yachts out on Lake Wylie and Lake Norman. And they have the helipad you can land. I've been there. I've seen it. And they all got Trump flags on their yachts. They're 70, 80-foot yachts. And they're out there. They're enjoying life. They're lighting cigars with $50 bills. It's a really remarkable. CNN's getting my mind rethinking a lot of things now, because I didn't know about the lifestyles of the rich and famous, Trump supporters who don't have any economic anxiety, which is remarkable, because I thought everybody kind of, felt a little uncertain about life in general. But the idea that you could take a 90-foot yacht out into Lake Wylie, you get over there and you go around and you have caviar and you do all that fancy stuff, and sea-doos and water skis, pontoon boats. Pontoon boats are expensive. Only Trump supporters can own them. 704-570-1110. President Trump's going to hold a rally in Gastonia, North Carolina, as you well know. We'll talk about that as well. I'm Brett Winterble, News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT. Mike Doyle's got the update.
CMPD said
I got so many people hitting me up on Twitter and on Facebook and messaging, talking about their luxurious lifestyles right here in the Carolinas because they're Trump supporters or Trump voters, and they're telling me. One man told me he has 2 jet skis. He's got 2 jet skis, and he's also got a very nice small motorboat. You need to understand, you're still, according to the CNN folks, wealthy and well-connected. You are, look, you can tell me it's a modest motorboat. You're probably describing something very similar to what we saw back in the days of Miami Vice. Those rocket boats, just those cigarette boats, just flying around. But I do want to take a couple more phone calls, then we're going to develop a couple other lines of thought. We are live right now, by the way. We are live streaming over at the WBT Facebook. I have also put a link up on my Twitter and my Facebook pages. So check in. You can actually see the host for what that's worth to you. And I think it's probably worth a lot. 704-570-1110 to be a part of the conversation. Steve is up next. Steve, welcome to the program.
Hey, Brett, how are you today?
I'm well. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, sir. Hey, I find myself saying this every day, and I can't believe I even waste my time saying it, but the hypocrisy of these guys is just unbelievable. I mean, for how many years have we heard that it's always the uneducated, mainly white men who voted for Trump and who carried him to victory, and now, what is it? Oh, now we're rich and we're well-to-do and well-connected. I just can't believe who can believe this stuff on the left side, and they continue to vote for it. Who supports mainly Joe Biden? All the billionaires. There's not many billionaires that support Donald Trump.
Right.
All the Wall Street millionaires, all the big business guys, they're all in for Biden, and that I just can't see who can believe it.
What's interesting to me is this idea that you're going to try to win. Like if I was running the Biden campaign, my mission would be to try to win over Trump supporters, right? And say, hey,
Absolutely.
Change your vote. Well, anytime I ever went and bought a car, and I'm sure you've bought cars, anytime you go to buy a car, if I walk on that lot and the guy tells me why my current car stinks, why the guy across the street selling cars is a jerk or is a loser and only losers go shop over there, I'm not buying a car from that guy. If you want to get me to give you my vote, we have to establish a rapport, a relationship. Insult comics are great at a comedy club, but it doesn't work when you're running that as your campaign, telling us we're deplorable, we're smelly, we're stinky, we're awful.
Yeah, you would think they would have learned Hillary. It didn't work too well for her.
It did not. It did not. I mean, it is incredible. And you raise a hugely important point there, Steve, that, okay, let's keep going at the white men. The white men are the source of all the ills in the world today. Absolutely. And it's the reality is there is no such thing as people, you people, those people, that people. It's persons. We're all made up as individuals. And that's what it comes down to. And you got to start talking to us like we're individuals, not parts of a group that you move around on the board, which is frustrating. Great stuff from you, Steve. I appreciate you being there. Mike is next. Mike, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm on my way to the Trump rally right now, fighting traffic, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. I went and got a 4-year degree, but now, I make better money not using it at all and work 70 hours a week. Talking about cars, I'm driving a truck with 165,000 miles on it.
Right.
And I only buy used just, 2 years old, so my wife and kids have something safe and dependable to ride in.
Good.
But all that money, I don't buy dune buggies or four-wheelers. I invest and save that money so that, I can live a better life and my kids can live a better life. But what I just don't understand is, Trump needs to be a little more concise with when his message in the upcoming debate. He says if you pay attention, follow it. You know what he's saying, but for the average American that maybe doesn't follow it, he needs to be more articulated on, the reforms he has made, and then straight up ask Joe, what have you done? I've created millions of jobs, and you've created one, and that was for Hunter. Yeah. So why don't, or even when they call him racist and this and that, why don't he discuss one by one the reforms he's made from the First Step Act to so on, and then say, Joe, what have you done? And put him on the hot seat and make him say something, because the hypocrisy, we've all said it, is ridiculous, even from the media, the social media. It's becoming to a point where after this election, are any other elections going to be a free democracy? Because we're all being brainwashed by, and censored into what the masses are supposed to hear, to the outcome that the higher ups want. And that's why I just think it's so vital that Trump continues on his path to drain the swamp and keep making America great. I'll take it off there, fellas. Thank you.
Thanks. Be safe out there. Enjoy the rally tonight, and be safe, obviously, out there. I literally could not agree with you more on your assessment of the president's messaging. The people that support what he's talking about certainly understand the shorthand and the things he says, and you kind of follow it because you follow it every single day. But to the average person tuning into one of these rallies tonight, and I would submit to you, you probably have a lot more tune-in than you think when you go across all the platforms that are running his rallies. And frankly, the rallies that are being run by the Biden-Harris campaign as well. People are watching them on YouTube. They're cutting and pasting. It's on Twitter. It's on Facebook. It's on a million different channels and avenues. It's not just ABC, NBC, CBS anymore. And so it's important for the president to be articulate and concise. What you said is exactly right. You don't need to throw in 7 nicknames and 4 insults to talk about your tax policy. What you need to say is, listen, when I came out to run for this job, I knew I was going against all the odds. I knew that they were going to do whatever it took to take me out. And they tried to take you out with me, but I persevered because of you supporting this effort. And then click off the stuff you've got. I would almost tell the president, tune Biden out. Just go in and make your case. And then save the smack on Hunter for the very last thing you say, where you say, listen, we all come from different backgrounds and places, but some of us have been able to be resourceful enough to develop something out of that. I've been fortunate enough to be a builder. My family put me on the right road, and I was able to become a builder. Joe, with the support of your family, you were able to serve in office for 47 years. We totally disagree on the outcomes, but that was because of the support of your family. And because of the support of dictators like Xi Jinping, your son is likely going to be the most effective trader on names in American history if you get elected. Like that's what you do. Woo him in, bring him into the cave, and then you bop him. And that's what you do. That's how you handle it. If you come out with the bazooka out of the box, where do you go from the bazooka? Where do you go from? And I'm not trying to give I'm giving a war analogy only because, you think about a bazooka. That's a really devastating one. Is that the thing you come out with first? And then what are you going to go with next? You have to be strategic. Let Biden talk. There's no downside to letting him talk. In fact, the more you let him talk, the more nervous Kristen Welker gets, because she's going to have to do a cleanup on aisle 5, because Joe Biden just said he's running for the Senate and he thinks it's 1976. And he told us how much he's great friends with Jesse Helms. 704-570-1110. I'm Brett Winterble, News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT. Let's head on over to Boomer Von Cannon for a look at those roads out there.
Hey, thanks a lot, Brett. We have a collision now.
I put the link up at the Facebook. I put it up at the Twitter page, and this will be the first of many forays into this avenue. I'm going to hit you with a little bit of sound. This is from The View. The issue of Jeffrey Toobin has come up and was addressed on The View. And I don't know about you, but I can't tell you how many times a day I walk around wondering what they're saying on The View about a given thing. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that happens. So this is their breakdown of Jeff Toobin, Red Toobin. Go.
We're all still kind of trying to process this one. So legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin was suspended by The New Yorker and took a leave of absence from CNN after co-workers reportedly said that during a Zoom conference, he was, masturbating. So I know that you worked with him, Sonny, but from a legal standpoint, what is the defense here if they want to rake him over the fire?
What's the defense? Here we go. What's the defense?
Well, I think there's no question, Whoopi, that if he were physically in an office at work, that this would be a fireable offense. There would be grounds for termination.
Right.
But this is unprecedented in a sense. We're in these unprecedented times. There's a global pandemic, and he was on a virtual work call. But
no, wait, hold on. You can't. That's not an out. Hold on. We're having that big meeting later on today. Oh, what's Ned doing? Is he smoking crack? He is at home after all. I mean, I don't know that I can really hold it again. That is a terrible scale to use. Jeff Toobin did what he did. He apologized. He said, I humiliated my family. I humiliated myself. He's really become like a virtual laughing stock at this stage of the game. He chose to engage in that activity with the camera on. I thought it was off. I'm in a room full of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mics are in this room. We have 5 microphones in this room. And the first thing they tell you in the very first day when it comes to broadcasting is presume every mic is hot. Assume every mic is on and that everybody can hear what you're saying. Oh, I can't believe I just uttered that phrase. I can't believe that this thing was just said. I can't believe. No, you Jeff, wait till you're off the clock, man. Wait till you're not and look what they were doing. You know what they were doing when he was doing that? And seriously, they were doing a simulation of a presidential election that essentially, what are we going to do if the president doesn't concede, doesn't acknowledge that he's lost? No lie. This is like the 50th one of these I've read an article or heard about these elite magazines and newspapers are doing. And what is so funny is they never get a conservative to play the part of Trump. They go get, okay, here's what we're going to do, guys. Alyssa Milano is going to play the part of Trump. Joe Biden will be played by this other person and that. Oh, Alyssa Milano is not available to play the part of Trump. Who can we use to play the part of Trump? Joy Behar is going to play the part of Trump. So you're going to get caricature people to play the parts of these other people. So you're not going to really red team this, are you? You're not red teaming anything. You're not doing it right. If you're going to do a simulation, if you're going to red team, you want to get people that are really trying to stick it to you. Meanwhile, Jeff Toobin represented the courts. He was supposed to be the Supreme Court. They didn't mean that kind of robe, Jeff. The black robe is not the same as the bathrobe. And you can't, this is why you're not going to be on TV for a while. But maybe you can write a book. Maybe people will want to read it. Okay, I'm going to give you one unsolicited piece of advice. This is the only unsolicited piece of advice I'm going to give Jeff Toobin. Come out and just say, I have Trump derangement syndrome. I hate him so much. I went crazy and lost my mind. And I couldn't control myself. I'm so tilt. I went so tilt on the president that I did something horribly regrettable and stupid. But do you know that if you said that to him as a piece of advice, he would say to you, he has no control over me. I am who I am. Yeah, but you're going to say you did it on purpose? Well, it's because of, and I am, and you know. No. I promise you that you are now an Anthony Weiner grade punchline. I mean, really, this is terrible. And you want to know, at the end of the day, the true failing here? You want to know, like, the true failing of what this man did? And it's the same sort of thing. I'm not equating him, but I'm putting it in the same general category of these elite actors, writers, filmmakers, film producers in Hollywood who feel like because they can throw the "don't you know who I am" card, or "I'm super important" card, or "I'm all that stuff" card, that they can get away with this stuff. I can ask my assistant to go run lewd errands for me because I pay her well and she gets a good bonus from me. And that's just, no, you can't. That's not the world you live in. What Jeff Toobin was done in by was not pornography, and it wasn't getting outed on Zoom. What he got done in by was a sense of entitlement, that he's so important and so cool that he can behave in whatever malign way he wants in the middle of an actual job job. That's the great sin. He's entitled. CNN wants to tell you that you have a boat and a Sea-Doo and a dune buggy, and that makes you an entitled Trump voter. Show me anybody who's as entitled as the DC Beltway elites, both parties. They are positively next level. 704-570-1110. We got another great hour straight ahead in front of us. We're going to expand the field of conversation. We'll talk a little bit about this Hunter Biden stuff. Also, we're going to talk about Kamala Harris as the district attorney in San Francisco and the Fast and Furious Curious Case. I'm Brett Winterble, News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT.
From the QC Kinetic Studio, non-surgical solutions for chronic pain. QC Kinetic.